So, the Galaxy Z Flip 3 for Dummies. The design of the Flip 3 is similar to what we have last year with a few exceptions, and those exceptions, in addition to the price, are what makes the Flip 3 way better, much of an upgrade from last year, and the best foldable device so far. These features are the cover display and durability. The cover display is now a lot more bigger than last year's. At 1.4 inches, it's 4 times bigger actually. You can do a lot more than just checking the time, but also comfortably reading notifications and a lot more. The display is also now big enough to act as a much better viewfinder or preview screen when taking a video or a photo. You can also use Samsung Pay and check the weather all from that cover display. We'll get to the cameras in a minute, but about the durability as well. This year the Z Flip 3 has been made more durable with what Samsung calls armor aluminum. So the hinge and the body has been upped by 10% in durability. The display is also more durable, and the device is now IPX8 rated for water resistance, so a depth of 1.5 meters or about 5 feet for 30 minutes. That's one big point for a flagship device, but be careful with dust as it's not dust rated, hence the X. Other than these features, the others remain the same, like the same size, same weight, and now you're getting 2 cameras instead of 1 like last year. And also lots of colors to choose from: phantom black, cream, white, gray, and even pink. There's pink for the light days. The power button doubles as a fingerprint scanner. You have a USB Type-C port and stereo speakers at the bottom with great sound actually. Opening the Z Flip 3, you're greeted with a similar screen size as last year, a 6.7-inch AMOLED display, but this time around we're getting 120 Hz adaptive refresh rate. So smoothness is not going to be different from other flagships. It runs on Android 11 with One UI 3 slapped onto it. The brain behind is a Snapdragon 888 processor, so the best in the game right now, with 8 gigs of RAM 8 gigs of RAM coupled with 128 or 256 gigs of storage. It has a 3300 mAh battery with 15 watt fast wired charging actually, and then there's 10 watts wireless charging, and there's also reverse wireless charging, which is interesting to charge your Buds 2 or Watch 4 for example. Before we go on to the camera, the flipping nature of the Z Flip 3 gives it something unique that you wouldn't find on any smartphone, any other smartphone. And when you think about it, actually there's just like no other smartphone that flips other than the Z Flip 3 and the Fold 3. So that's just like a very small number of smartphones you can compare this phone with. And I'm talking about flex mode, which is basically bending the phone in half at the hinge. So on the Z Flip 3 there's more apps than before taking advantage of that flex mode, like watching a YouTube video on the top screen, reading comments on the bottom, or setting it down to take a video or picture, just like you would on a tripod, but now you have your very own tripod-y thing in the phone and all that. Just wow. And I mean, with the phone bent like that, video calls have also been made hands-free. The flex mode also allows you to use some apps one-handed, very easily one-handed, like gallery app or YouTube, like I mentioned. The cameras, so there are 3 cameras in total, 2 on the cover on the outside and 1 inside. No under display camera on the Z Flip 3. We hope to see that next year. By then, there's a lot of devices having under display cameras. So 2 on the outside, both 12 megapixel both 12 megapixel lenses, a 12 megapixel main with OIS and a 12 megapixel ultra wide. OIS is basically optical image stabilization, which helps stabilize shaky footage. So you're running or you're in an earthquake and you decide to do millennial stuff like taking out your phone to film the earthquake. On the inside we have a 10 megapixel lens, and all cameras can shoot 4K at 30 frames per second, with those on the outside, the two shooting 4K at 60 frames per second. You can also easily access the camera without flipping open the phone, and since we now have a bigger cover display, you can do a lot more with it than you could the Z Flip or Z Flip 5G or the previous generations, what I mean. The main cameras can also double as a selfie camera if you want to get more crisp quality pictures or videos. So now you have a bigger cover display, you can use that as a viewfinder or preview screen for when you give your phone to someone or you hand it over to somebody to take a picture or a video of you. You can see yourself in that cover display while the person is taking the video, and you can actually frame yourself right instead of having to check it and like, nah, it's not good. You have to shift over to this side and you give the person the phone back and the person takes the picture and it's still not good, and you go back and forth. Now you only do that once, you frame yourself, adjust, make every adjustment, and they take the shot once and for all. Here are a couple of shots from the Z Flip 3. Night mode is like, what? But that's impressive actually. The ecosystem around the Z Flip 3 is pretty normal, nothing really special about it. You can control your wearables like the Buds 2, the Watch 4 series directly from the phone with the Galaxy Wearable app. The Samsung Pay, I mean, for obvious reasons, it's 2021, and more interesting is you don't need to flip open the phone to use Samsung Pay. You can access it directly from the cover display. No time to open the phone up, time no day. So if you haven't realized, the phone is thin, I mean really thin, and it has to be so when unfolded, such that when it's folded, it doesn't double up in size and become too thick and bulky and big that it doesn't even fit into your pockets. And for those who wear like skinny jeans and stuff, that's going to be really uncomfortable for you. Camera is also really good, and although I didn't get a lot of time with the device, the cameras are impressive. I mean, those shots that they took, especially in low light, was wow, really good to see 12 megapixels, Samsung working with 12 megapixels. So that's impressive. And talk about impressive, and you can't miss how stylish the Z Flip 3 is, especially with the limited edition Thumb Brown edition. This makes you fall in style without being geeky. And selling at $1,000, which is going to sell at 6,500 CDs here, the Z Flip 3 is now cheaper than before, at a similar price as the Galaxy S21 Plus and the iPhone 12 Pro. It's now an option for anyone who could afford these phones, and Samsung made it as such so it fits in the current flagship lineup. But what makes the Z Flip 3 special, unique, is this flagship folds.